DQ.
Hey Q, how you doing, brother?
Good man. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm drinking tea on this winter day, and excited to be talking to you.
I know it's been a minute.
Yeah. So let me do an intro. Hey everybody, welcome to Tea Time at the Apothecary. I'm TQ. This is my brother JQ, and we are talking to you live from Merz Apothecary and smallflower.com. We use this time once a week, twice a week, as often as we can to catch up, drink some tea, talk about life, sometimes talk to customers, sometimes interview people, companies, review products, whatever we're feeling. Today, we're just going to talk and we're going to talk about tea. So thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, you want to participate, chat us up wherever you're at, and we should be able to see it, and we'll try and loop you in. Right, Jay?
Yes.
Okay. So I got to start with a couple things. First, let me just say we'll get into it in a minute, but we're drinking plantain leaves today, which is a big one for us. So, but before we get into that, I just want to talk about my artwork. Created by your son.
Yeah, I don't know. He was writing back and forth with his pen pal, and then he was like, "I'm gonna draw a fire dragon and an ice dragon, a firezilla and icezilla, actually."
Yeah,
And then he drew it, and then he was like, "We have to photocopy this for Unky T." Like
yeah,
I don't know what in his head he was like. Unky T's gonna love this.
yeah. I do. I put it up, and I've been doing business calls with this behind me.
Nice.
Um, yeah, it's pretty awesome. But I want to show you, aside from the awesome like labeling of everything, like this is Firezilla, this is Icezilla, and by the way, that's ice, and that's fire coming out of the mouth, and these are spikes, and these are little spikes. All of it spelled phonetically, which is it makes it even more adorable and awesome. But my favorite part is the general description right here of I was like, what is that? Altum, and it's two lines. It's spread over two lines. Ultimate battle.
Ultimate battle.
It's the ultimate battle. So I've been
We
using
should do
around
it.
my
I
house.
like
I've
an
been using
idea.
ultimate as like it's even better than ultimate. It's like more ultimate than ultimate.
Well, I think that we should do. That gives me an idea. We should do a show of doing mints head to head. It'll be the ultimate battle.
Yeah, we definitely need more. I need more ultimate battles in my life.
That'd be fun. We could do it like a March Madness bracket where we go head to head and then one wins and then we go to the finals.
Sure, I'm down
Ultimate
for any
battle.
ultimate battles. Um, yeah, so that's been a joy. And the funny thing is, because behind me, I forget that it's there until I'm on a video and I see myself, and I'm like, oh yeah, there's an ultimate battle going on right over my shoulder.
Icezilla versus
Yeah,
Firezilla.
it really puts things in perspective, you know? My problems are nothing compared to Icezilla versus Firezilla.
Or the people nearby, really.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So anyway, um,
Well, I'm glad. I'll tell him that you're rocking it during your business calls.
yeah,
But hey, so let's talk about plantain leaves. I think this is a sort of a mainstay for us, and we take it for granted because we have products with it in there, and you and I know it because we grew up on it for particularly for deep coughs. That sort of hard to get to cough. Not as much the my throat is dry, but more like that deep chest kind of seal bark cough, or that one that feels like there's like a wheezing down below that you kind of can't get relief from. Plantain
yeah.
is amazing for this
Yeah,
particular
that's
cough.
traditional use of plantain has been for that kind of bronchial conditions. Um, that said, you don't need to have something like that to drink it and to get some benefits from it. So my question would be, I want to talk for a second before we get into more benefits, is like, what does it smell like? It's interesting. I don't normally drink it on its own.
It's pretty mild.
It's mild. Am I wrong, or is there like kind of a almost like, and I don't want to turn people off of it because it's not like it's not bothersome. There's like a funky, almost metallic tinge to it or something like that in the smell and in the flavor. Not metallic, but like
I don't know. I'm
there's
not really getting it.
maybe it's just the dust in my cup. I don't know.
No, it's like a particular kind of earthy. I know what you mean. There's a little bit of like coin in there, like a little nickel in
Yeah,
there.
that's what I'm talking about.
It's
It's kind of
really
like
mild though. It's really
yeah,
mild.
yeah, super mild. But I'm just saying, like sometimes, like you get herbs and they're like, oh, this is so like hayish, or this is like sweet and floral. This one is like also mild herbal, but has a little bit of this like,
Irony thing, yeah.
yeah, like natural mineral kind of content thing going on.
Well, greens have iron, so we notice that. We talk about that every time we drink nettle, that there's like a little bit of an iron kind of thing. It's so high in iron. I wouldn't be surprised if this has a little of that same
Yeah,
chemical makeup, but I'd say that's a subtle kind of
yeah,
undertone.
yeah, yeah.
Mostly, it's I would say just like like sweet, like sort of sweet earthy.
Yeah, I
You
think
know?
so. There is like a touch of floral scent to it.
Yeah, I mean,
It's like sweet grass or sweet leaves with a little bit of earthiness.
I also don't want to give the wrong impression here, but there is like a little bit of a mild, like, banana peelish aspect
Yeah.
to it. It makes sense it's a plantain, but you get
Oh
like a
yeah.
you get like a really light version of that in the leaf,
Yeah, I think that's right.
you know?
That's absolutely right. Maybe that's what I'm noticing and just kind of
It's that like sweet earthiness and that and then like, but the unripe version, you know what I mean?
yeah. So there's a lot of we're going to talk about some uses of plantain, but I want to tell you, so like I know that there's also a digestive use, but it happened that we were watching a show with our family yesterday and we had a bag of those fried green plantains or whatever, like or,
Chips.
the one with the plantain chips. I would say those are not great for digestion. That's me.
They're making there's one brand that has them and they're done in coconut oil. The ones that are in vegetable oil will make you gassy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't want to shout out her name. I don't want her to feel self-conscious, but one of my daughters was actually in pain this morning because of, and she was like, I don't know what happened. And I was like, we ate those plantain chips last night. I bet that's what it is. So that's not a diss on plantain, really more a diss on like fried
Vegetable
stack of
oil.
chips and vegetable oil.
Yeah.
No, no, don't do that. Um,
Yeah.
but anyway,
Fried foods in mild, small doses. And when you do, using coconut oil or avocado oil is going to be a lot better.
yeah. Anyway, that was just, I thought it was funny about that. We were doing this today after that. So
That is funny.
stick with it in your tea and on your skin and everything like that. That's the way to get plantains. Even eating them can be
Yeah, I've
delicious
been,
and good.
not
But
deep frying, but pan frying,
yeah,
doing like tostones style.
mm,
Um, it's
I
really
love that.
good. Plantains, green plantains are like a great source of a slow starch. So if you are on a low carb diet, it is a good way to fill out a meal and give you a slower carb that won't spike your blood sugar as much, and actually is full of prebiotics that help feed your good
Yeah,
your good gut bacteria.
like resistant starches that feed the gut bacteria. That said, I would say like, I think that's right. For most people, that's great. If you're on the high blood sugar side, still probably you want to do that in moderation, the starchy foods. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's what I've noticed, testing my blood sugar after doing it. But yeah, um,
But I really am trying to make this lasagna where the noodles are just really thin plantain,
oh,
and you do like Mexican adobo pork in between. I'm
ooh,
really excited with the like cojita cheese, you know?
yeah, yeah.
Mexican lasagna.
Well,
I'm excited.
perfect that and invite me over, please.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna pour myself some more of this tea.
This tea is lovely.
Yeah,
I have drunk a lot of plantain because um obviously for its respiratory stuff we already touched on, and we'll get deeper into that. But
yeah,
it also has a great benefit for the skin. Again, linking respiratory and skin. Commonly, the remedies that you see for eczema and for dry skin are also great remedies for this for the for respiratory and skin. A lot of correlation there is what I'll say.
yeah, yeah.
So
I
like
agree.
when I started taking I had asthma, and I started taking an albuterol inhaler, and then about a half a year afterwards I started to get these patches of skin, and I went to um a naturopath, and he
Patches
said,
of eczema, you mean?
yeah, yeah. And he said, well, he looked at it and said, "Do you have asthma?" First question.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. No, it's true. And I just, because I was just tasting, I didn't pay a lot of attention until we said that, but I just looked it up, and indeed, like I'm seeing a bunch of uh, these, different monograph places talking about herbs saying that plantain leaves are rich in iron. So I
There you
wasn't
go.
off there.
Yeah. It looks like, it looks like it. It's dark green. Yeah.
Yeah, and also like let's see, there's almost it's a dark brown, and there's almost like a purplishness to the uh do you know what I mean? There's like a tinge of bluish or purple in the to the brownness. It's like it's not like light tan. It's like there's almost tending towards
Yeah,
uh
you're right. You see it
bluish.
actually along the rim, uh,
Yeah.
around the outside. It really starts to turn almost bluish. It really has like a nice, black tea kind of color, you know?
Yeah. No, I wouldn't say it's super mild. It's obviously not like tannic, but it actually has a nice flavor. I like it. The more
Yeah.
I'm drinking it, the more I'm really like, this is delicious.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. I mean, it is also just generally used for inflammation. So, um, it's not a bad thing to drink, even if you don't have skin or digestive acute digestive issues or respiratory issues. So it's only going to help you.
Yeah, totally.
They also do a lot of like, this is one where they're like, people make a poultice. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah, commonly they'll make a poultice of this and put it on a wound. So you make the tea, and then you like tie it up, and you just hold it on a wound, and it promotes healing that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I've never done that. I'm just telling you that that's in the book. That's in Traben's book, and that's just like a thing that you'll see online a lot too.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of the resources which we can definitely link up that we have around plantain. Um, yeah, no, it's cool. I like it. Sores, blisters, swellings, these are insect bites, things like that are commonly used. It's commonly used for that. So it's cool.
Yeah, that's good. It's a good thing. Insect bites. I always forget. When I have an insect bite, I'm always like, I reach for cream first. But interesting to try tea and then pressing the tea bag on the spots where you need it is a kind of a cool alternative way to get from both ends.
Yeah. Interesting fact, or maybe not interesting fact about me. I got an insect bite out at our brother's house, at G's house, in June. That were like, I don't know what it was, but it was so strongly itchy, and it lasted for 6 months. It finally went away in January. And
Wow.
only after I scratched, I had three of them, two on my legs, one on my ankle, and they were not a mosquito bite. There's something. I remember when I got it and noticed it, and I scratched it open, and it was outside. It was like, I don't know if it was a flea bite or what it was, but something that was really annoying. And next time that happens, I'm going to give Plantain a try because nothing worked. You know.
Try
Uh,
it. Try it. I think it's a good idea. Um, Traven has a recipe in the Health Through God's Pharmacy book in many languages. So if you're out there and you have a and you want to read it in English, we have it. But if you have a grandparent or a mother or father who wants to read it in their native tongue, um, it's officially been reinstated. So we've got all the books in all the languages. Did you catch my De La Soul reference there?
I did. I did. I was like, wow. I'm like, which song was that from? It's officially been
That's why the native
reinstated.
tongues has officially been reinstated.
I was, when you said native tongues, I was thinking about the hip hop reference that I was going to make, and then you
It
snuck
was
it in
on
there
Stakes is
before
High.
me.
It's on that and the song and album Stakes is High.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, anyway, it's kind of a cool gift for someone who's old school or came from the old country and wants to rediscover some of the remedies from their childhood. I think it makes kind of a cool thing. And plantain
Yeah.
is all up in there, and she explains how to make a plantain syrup, um, which is really cool, a homemade one. Which I've never followed that recipe, but I will. I will do it sometime soon, and maybe we'll do it on the air. Next week
Yeah.
we are doing. I'm going to be making her Swedish bitters live on the air, and then we're going to come back in 3 weeks when it's done infusing, and then we're going to try it with a cup of nettle tea.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, I want to. I'm excited for that one. I love. I'm not really much of a maker myself, but I feel like you are, and I get the benefit of it,
yeah,
which
it's
is
great.
it's good to have a sibling who's into making stuff.
Just not money.
we
Um,
we help each other out, brother.
um, yeah, do you want to talk a little bit about sort of the history of us carrying a hard to find cough syrup and what that's kind of how that's kind of grown at the store in the Romanian communities and then among even just the neighborhood folks who know
Sure.
and how hard it's been to find at times and
Yeah. So our dad, Abdul, aka Pops, he is he's a pharmacist here for many years since the 1970s, and he has always been recommending plantain as a general bronchial, for general bronchial support. Um, One of our favorite products over the years has been this Tannenblut cough syrup from Hübner, which is a German company. And one of the reasons he loved it was that it had plantain among a bunch of other amazing ingredients for bronchial support. And so, um, there aren't as many Germans, new Germans coming into the United States anymore. So obviously, like on a one-off basis, but you don't have a big wave. But like we've been selling that product to Germans for many years, as well as other German bronchial products, our bronchial tea and a bunch of other things. But in the past 20, 30 years, you have a lot of Eastern European immigrants from various countries. In our customers, that would be the largest represented groups are probably like Serbo-Croatian, Bosnian,
former
some former
Yugoslavian. Yeah.
Yugoslav countries. They're coming over for that. And then in Chicago, at least, there's a huge Romanian community. And they also are very tied in with traditional herbal European remedies and have been seeking out um, plantain for plantain and other herbs. But like one of the things is like they love tannin root. And then because we've been recommending it so long here in Lincoln Square and across the country, through the site, we have like this magical formula of Tannenblut syrup and our Salus bronchial tea. And then if you want to throw in there Gellermertol when you get really bad congestion, that's like the German trifecta for bronchial support.
It's
You know what I
amazing.
mean? Like
It's
it's
amazing. And
yeah,
every time I've had sort of a deep bronchial infection, that has gotten me through every time.
yeah,
I've
yeah.
never
We
had
should.
I fortunately have not had to resort to heavier meds than that. And if I'm diligent about it and about a week, sometimes two, if it's really bad, if I stay on that 3 times a day, it knocks it right out, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I think that's right, and I think that Greta, I'm sure is listening in or will. We should definitely call it the bronchial support trifecta and sell it on the site. All three of those things together, so
Yeah.
that people can. It's not up there right now as such, but we'll link all three products, and then
Yeah.
as soon as we do have
Actually,
that
you
as a
should
package deal, we
just
will just sell
just so people know that you mentioned Gellermertol, but it's actually just called Myrtol now.
it.
So just
Yeah, sorry.
if anyone's searching, it's Myrtol, right?
Yeah, Myrtol,
And that's
Tandem,
just that those are little capsules with just essential oils in there that you swallow, and you will breathe like cool, amazing, fumes. And going down there, it will break up when you're like when
yeah.
it's tight and you can't get the cough to be productive. That's what helps you break it up on a
Yeah,
really tough one.
technically the capsules are enteric coated so that the essential oils are acting in your gut. But you do smell it through sometimes through the digestive system because they're a decent quantity of essential oils. Um, but it does have an effect on the bronchial passages in helping break up mucus and things like that. Seems to really support um, healthy, you know, support regular breathing and respiratory function.
Right.
So I love that stuff. Um, but yeah, and then Tannenblut is the one we're talking about now. That's this syrup, this herbal syrup that literally translates to pine blood or dwarf. I think it's right. Yeah, pine blood. Tannenbaum is Christmas tree. It's pine blut. It's like the pine sap
Yep.
syrup, and so that's one of the ingredients. So it does have this kind of like uh, very evergreeny, rich pine flavor, but then plantain and a few other things are also in there. So that would be the syrup. And then the tea that we often drink, which you can just drink plantain tea, we sell, what we're drinking today, that's what we sell a lot of. But we also have, for those who want a bag, we have a bronchial tea from Salus that is sort of famous among those in the know for like, I think it's that season. I need to keep something around to keep the cough away or keep my breathing good. You know,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think another thing that's good to mention for someone that's, relatively inexpensive and to keep around just to have some plantain on hand is that Tannenblut makes awesome lozenges and pastilles.
yeah,
And the lozenges have like they're like filled with the Tannenblut.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
It's like if you want to turn it into a candy and still enjoy it, they're awesome.
they're
They're great.
so good, yeah. And really, like if you are in a pinch and you have to speak or you have to be in a meeting, even if it's on Zoom and you have a nagging cough and you just don't want to be coughing the whole time. I have a cough button here. I'll show you. You can't hear it, right?
Wow.
But most people don't have a cough button.
No,
And
that's pretty
so
awesome.
you need to you need to be careful because then excuse me and then you mute yourself and everyone can see. But if I'm in a meeting and somebody's talking See, that's the cough button. But if you don't have a cough button, get some Town and Blue. Uh, I think it's useful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, it is. I think you're right. So, yeah, that'd be a great way to do it. And then, so that's kind of the history. So that's how we sort of became like Town and Blue became sort of a very strong seller for us. And it's around the world, it's a very popular product, and it has like all these great. It's cool if you look at Town and Blue, the packaging in different countries around the world. It's like you get the joy of like looking at like old Coca-Cola ads or something. It's like
Yeah,
that same kind of like, oh, look at that. Like it's so cool, you know?
that's awesome.
Yeah.
The I should mention here that Olbas, while it doesn't have plantain in the oil,
Mhm.
their syrup also has plantain, so that's another option too. Because sometimes we do run out of Town and Blue, and people are like, "What else can I get?" And I remember going through all of our syrups at some point and searching for plantain, and Olbas also has it as an active ingredient.
Yeah, cool. Swiss and German syrups. Um, Yeah, so let me just say if you joined us since we did the intro, welcome to Tea Time at the Apothecary. I'm TQ, this is my brother JQ, and we are coming at you live from Merz Apothecary and smallpower.com. And we're talking about plantain today. Plantain as a tea, which we are drinking, as an ingredient in other products, used on skin. I think we have an article that we're going to link up about some various uses, but it has a smoothie and a face mask recipe that people could
Awesome.
try as well. So I know Greta sent that over, so we'll make sure we link that up.
That's cool.
But it's, this is something that's been used for a long time. Has a lot of great traditional uses, just kind of supports good respiratory function, skin, take care of skin issues. It's great.
Inflammation.
Digestive issues. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we're
You
big fans.
know,
When we say tea, we're not always talking about tea, the true plant tea and we're talking about drinking herbs as teas. Uh, Although we love tea as well. I am a true tea junkie, a green tea junkie, but all kinds of tea. But we often get on here and try and pick out herbs that maybe you might know, but often you might not have tried before, and that can be like a great addition to your little herb consumption pantry, right? Like I love
yeah.
the idea of people having like a pantry. And the cool thing about these is like in general, we're not, most of these herbs, they're not really like, they're not occasional use products. You can just drink them beverage for general good normal daily use,
Yeah.
and they'll be great for just uh, supporting you in life. And
It's
this is
also
one of
like
those
for
things.
me in the summer, especially like making a big pot of some herbal tea for the week and then just leaving it in the fridge is it just feels like I'm doing something good for myself, and it's like a
Yeah,
no-brainer, easy way to get a good herb in my system,
yeah,
and B, it feels like a treat. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
where I would normally just reach for like like a can of seltzer water, or
yeah.
or something else, or a
Be
second
tempted.
coffee.
They'll be tempted by like another coffee or
This is a great way to
a
get a new flavor.
lemonade, getting a lot of sugar.
Yeah, like a new flavor in your mouth and being like, all right, this is cool. You know what I mean? Like, just
Yeah,
gives you something, and the flavor of it slows you down so you don't also just like chug it. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. It's you got to get a brand new flavor in your mouth. A brand new flavor in your mouth.
This is old school hip hop reference,
Yeah,
Wednesday. I like it.
yeah,
Hip hop hump day.
yeah.
Um, uh,
Uh,
yeah, no. So I mean, that's my favorite way to do it. It's harder when it's in the winter because you're making water, but I do that so many times a day anyway. So, but it's really nice in the summer, and you can actually like I like to take these teas, put them over ice, put a little splash of seltzer water in there too, and just make it more like it's like my replacement for soda. Holy basil is maybe the best to do that with. It's so bright and
yeah, yeah.
you know.
Lemon balm's a great one too.
Yeah,
Um,
I would put this in there. This is a little different, but I like it a lot.
Yeah, me too. Um, I have to say, I always drink a lot of tea, and here at the store we have a nice hot water, a filtered hot water dispenser. So getting hot water is easy and it makes it easy. But at home, we recently got one of those, like a Cuisinart, um,
Yeah, electric kettle.
yeah, electric kettle. And I've been against it for so long. There was sort of like a traditional purity side of me that was like, just like enjoy the time, like putting it in, turning on the gas stove. I don't see that I'm ever going back. I gotta say,
No
I
way.
love the electric kettle.
You spend like a week in London and you're like, well, I mean, I've never drank so much tea, and every little kitchen and half kitchen and kitchenette has one of those. Like that's the first thing you have, you know?
Yeah, and also for me, the model that I got has like 5 temperature settings,
Oh, cool. So
and
you can go right to green tea setting.
I've saved it. You get to pick one that's your default program. So it goes to boil automatically. But if you just hit the other button, it goes to whichever one you choose. So like
Oh,
Safi likes hers boiled, but I drink green tea. So I have my green tea setting. And I've got to tell you, I always have known I try to keep it lower temperature on green tea. And I think our spigot, it's not purely boiling, but it's hotter than the green tea setting recommended often. And now that I'm using the green tea setting, I love it. Like the flavor of the green tea is,
you're not burning it,
it's
right?
less scorched.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
has kind of a richer flavor. I'm just
And I would
digging.
imagine you're not getting like sort of as harsh and tannic of a flavor, right?
Yeah, in a way, I had to adjust to it because sometimes like the
You're
tannins
used
are
to
sort of
that
like
bite.
the what you're looking for to know that you're getting your tea fix. But now that I've been doing it, I'm like, I actually prefer it. So I will shout out for a great electric kettle. The other nice thing about it is the one that I have is you can once you turn it on, it's more energy efficient than just burning gas underneath a thing where most of the energy is like dispersing out the sides, but it also will keep reheating for 30 minutes if you want. So like I have it on that setting, so then like I don't need to worry about like
If I
someone
got
can
to it
walk
in
up and be
time.
like, oh, I'll take a cup. And so as long as now the next thing, if they would just make a button that shocks my kids when they only fill it up enough for their cup of tea,
Shocks
instead
the
of
kids.
instead of actually letting and make them fill it up so that other people can enjoy tea, then it would be the perfect kettle. So Cuisinart, if you're listening, put the shock button for kids on the electric kettle for teenagers who don't think about anyone else but themselves.
That's amazing. You got a thumbs up on Facebook from that one.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's incredible. Um, shock button for kids.
Yeah. Like, hey, be generous, kid. It's the thoughtless teenager button. Anyway,
That's awesome. So I mean, I guess the other thing I would mention about plantain is that if you're looking for it, some people are like, well, I don't want to buy I buy a cough tea, and then if I buy plantain as well, the nice thing is take a pinch of each when you have a cough, but when you don't, just drink the plantain.
yeah.
However, if you want one that kind of killed two birds with one stone. Our Merz original formula, our loose cough tea has plantain in it as well.
Yeah, we can link that up too. Um, the other thing, in
That
general,
stuff is that stuff's amazing. I always do the bags because like when I'm sick, I just want a quick to do it. But it's not that much faster. And one time we ran out of the Salus Bronchial tea bags, and I took home the carton of cough and bronchial tea from Merz. And I mean, I think it worked better, you know?
yeah, we have a good tea.
It's
The other part I would
fresher
say,
herbs.
yeah, the other thing I was going to say about your point is that um, while there are some herbs that are rare and a little more expensive, buying bulk herbs is
Pretty cheap.
generally quite inexpensive. So I mean, like plantain leaves, the smaller size is 5.75, and honestly, that will last most people a long, long time. five
I've
dollars
been
is
going through it for 9 months.
yeah. So like when I talked about building up a pantry, like if you love the idea of herbs and or even think you might, like you can start with a budget of $20 and get like
Three
four
or
new
four
things,
different things.
3 to 4 new things that you've never tried before and that you'll be able to enjoy for a long time. So
And
I, that,
the package is cardboard. You're putting it in a reusable tea filter. It's like the most sustainable, awesome, inexpensive, good for you habit ever, you know?
yeah, yeah, we should, Greta, we should link up also my favorite tea filter. We should always do that. Just like we should have a little thing like favorite tea filter for home is the mesh uh, finum or finum one. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I love that tea filter. It's the best one I've ever used. And then we also sell a nice disposable paper filters that you can take on the road. So when I want to take loose tea for traveling, I just put it in a bag and throw some loose paper filters in there, take pinches, put it in there. And again, I'm not bringing a bunch of waste around. I'm not having to worry about anything, and I can sort of adjust the strength of the tea to the the what I want at the time that I'm going to drink it. I love it.
That's cool.
And these tea filters are long, the paper ones. So I also will sort of pre-pack some. And I literally have I put like one pre-pack in my coat pocket and just folded it over and arrived somewhere like 3 hours later and been like, ready for my tea. And like, I don't even put it back. Like I just like, I got a tea bag in my pocket. It's strong enough, but and it's
Well, the
long
nice
enough and
thing
it
that
doesn't
it's
spill.
long also is that like if you have a big thermos, it'll clamp into the top of it, you know, so
Yeah, you can just lay it over any cup. And as soon as it gets wet, it will just sort of hang there. It's great. Um, yeah. That's what I got for today, Jay.
that's what I got for plantain too. I'm a big fan. It's a big one that they recommend for psoriasis. It has helped me through some bad flare-ups.
Through
I
thick and thin, mucus, right?
through thick and thin microbiome on my epidermis.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, no, I mean, you know, I think it's great, and I think that everyone out there should give it a shot. It's
yeah,
it's a good one to have on hand. And also if you have little kids and they don't like the taste of stuff, this is an easy one to get them to drink for a cough. It doesn't taste bad. You could even put a little honey in it if you want. And I can't imagine a kid wouldn't drink this down.
yeah. And thankfully, most people I know have been staying pretty healthy. But like, I'm not talking about COVID right now, although obviously we should be careful of that. But assuming you're already doing everything you're supposed to do to avoid that, I think like just having stuff on hand for respiratory support. So if you notice like getting a little respiratory something, like nip that in the bud, like take try to support your respiratory system before something gets bad so you can avoid the fear that essentially like would come if you were actually just had like a cold or kind of a respiratory function issue that you're going to be then freaking out about something else. You know what I
Especially
mean?
right now because because you're then going to have to go get tested for something for COVID too. And like, you know, the way that my doctor friends have told me is like the co-infection rate. You want to be careful because you're much more susceptible to catching it when you're already compromised, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of my point. It's like, hey, the end is in sight. I don't know when it is, but like, I can see, I watch the little thing on, I go out to the little thermometer and like, it's low right now. It's like, I think when I looked yesterday, it was like 3% of the people are completely immunized and like 9% have had one shot. But like every day it goes up in the United States, that is. And every day it goes up. And I feel like it's going to balloon in the next like 30 to 60 days that it will start being like, wow, a lot of people are already through it. So, but my point was in the meantime, don't give up now. It's a year in. Even if you've already had it, you got to take care of yourself so we can get through this and get like the herd immunity and the vaccine done. So that'd be great.
Cool. All right, man. See everybody. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back on Friday. Um, and Friday we will be what are we talking about on Friday?
Don't remember something great.
No, we're doing our immunity tea bundle.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And we got to get a guest on here sometime soon. You know what, Jay? I'm in the mood. I'm sending out the wish. I'm in the mood for some music. We haven't had a musical guest in a while, and like I'm dying for some live music, man. Let's do it.
Yeah, yeah. Marcus' album just came out, so we should have him back on. Um, and he would love like some awesome herbal tea. I think he would drink and sit around and
Let's do
talk with
that.
us.
Yeah.
So we'll set that up soon too. All right.
All right. Good to see you, brother. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We'll see you soon.
Peace
Lot
out,
nos
everybody.
out. All right. Peace.